Hello. You don't normally see me in front of the camera, but I thought I would just give you my reaction to this party political broadcast that's just been released. And I've watched it through once already, and it is shockingly bad. It is clear that Kemi Badenoch has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. Um, so yeah, well, I thought we'd just go through it and rip on it, if I'm honest. So here we go.
And as Big Ben strikes 10, the exit poll is predicting a Labour landslide.
If this is correct, Labour has indeed got a landslide.
We would have a majority for the Labour Party of 410.
The Conservative Party. Often an election-winning machine looks pulverised tonight.
Well, look, so she's in her kitchen trying to make herself look like, she's just one of the common people, which she'll go on to say in this moment as well.
Okay. The British public kicked Conservatives out because we got things wrong. They were right. We had not delivered on things we said we would do. We'd let them down. And I hate letting people down. A lot needs to be fixed in our country.
14 years. They had 14 years in power, and she's just right there admitted that a lot needs fixing. Why should we vote for her?
I think the economy needs fixing. I think the NHS needs fixing. Our immigration system needs fixing. So much needs fixing. Politics.
It's starting off. It is pretty much. There was a comment underneath the post that I saw this on, and it sounds pretty much like an apology from a bully. Yes, I know I've just given you a wedgie and beat you up for your lunch money, but I won't do it again. I promise we'll still be friends.
Politicians of all parties for many decades now have been saying they're going to do things and then not doing them. You can get problems solved. I stopped crazy laws that would have seen rapists being put in women's prisons. And I did that by making sure people understood the problem, people heard the truth, and by never giving up.
So in the entire time of the Conservative Party being in power, she can name one thing that she's done in that time. Brilliant. Carry on.
And so you can win these things if you do the right thing. You get people supporting you, not necessarily people who support your party. I mean, people like J.K. Rowling, for instance, she's not a Conservative supporter.
J.K. Rowling, massive transphobe, yep.
She's a Labour supporter. But when you touch on values, when you touch on principles, when people can see that you're fighting for the vulnerable, for women and girls, for those who have no voice, they will support you. I think so many people take for granted what an amazing country we have. And I will never do that because I've lived somewhere else. I returned to this country, age 16, with £100 in my pocket. My first job was working at McDonald's.
That's when she was working class, by the way.
I met people from all walks of life, people who were doing the job for fun and others who were doing it like me so that they could eat and get around. I needed to do that just so I could survive. So I know what it's like not to have money. I know what it's like.
So her dad was a GP. Her mother was a professor at some kind of university. They both profited off the oil boom of the 70s, and she admits she was born into a wealthy family. Yet she can sympathise with the common man and can understand what it's like to have no money.
Like for everything to feel expensive or to go into a supermarket and have to think very carefully about what you can and cannot buy or eat. And I didn't like that feeling. And those feelings of anxiety, I don't want people to have. I have 3 amazing, very, very crazy, fun-loving kids who bring joy to my life. I want them to feel like life is good and things are going to be great. It's 2025. It's a new year, but I think everyone is worried. I think everyone is a bit nervous about the future. Things haven't been going well in the country for a while.
See, openly admitting it. Things haven't been going well in the country for a while. Who was in power? Who was in power?
And when you look ahead, there's no sign of things getting better. When your team loses in politics, you still want the other side to do well. Because if Labour does badly, then my mortgage goes up. Then food gets more expensive. Then the streets aren't safe. So you want...
So you're telling me that even though you lost the general election, you still want Labour to do really, really well because at the next general election, that's going to give the Conservatives a better chance of winning? How does this logic work? I mean, seriously, do you actually expect people to believe that you're rooting for Labour to do well because you don't want your mortgage to go up? It's just, you're trying to proper gaslight people, and it's so disingenuous.
Whatever party, even if it's not your team, to be competent. And we're just not seeing that. The economy is getting worse. They clearly don't have a plan.
Why?
People feel betrayed. I do think that many people feel that Keir Starmer is what is wrong with politics. Having somebody who is so disconnected from the everyday lives of people across the UK. Someone who thinks like a bureaucrat, who thinks like a lawyer, not like a leader. We need to look.
Keir Starmer's not the greatest leader, admittedly. He is quite dull and boring, but that's what the country needs. He doesn't need right-wing complete nut jobs who's willing to start a fight in an empty room. Had absolutely zero interest in helping out women when she was Women's Inequalities Minister because she was on the right wing. And it was a right wing and a left wing issue. And because she's right wing, you can shut it down. That's what it was. Nothing to do with the situation, what people were presenting to her. No, I'm right wing. You do as I say. I'm in charge. I'm the one that makes the decisions. That was her attitude. And now she's expecting to be leader of the country after cheering on Labour. Like, what are you talking about?
After our country, we need to love it. It's one of the reasons why I have such a tough line on immigration. I felt so angry when I heard the numbers, even as a minister.
Now she's just playing up to the Reform voters.
I was told that the numbers would not be anywhere near that high, and that's on us. We were far too naive, and we were not clear with the British people that immigration numbers were far, far too high because we didn't want to upset anyone. We need to be a place.
This is, bear in mind that the Conservatives promised to reduce immigration to the tens of thousands on about 3 or 4 successive general election campaigns, which she was a part of.
Place where we believe in patriotism and real citizenship, people who care about their community, they care about their neighbours, they want their society to be successful. People need to buy into British values and our way of doing things. And we need to remember that this country is our home. It's not a hotel. It's not a dormitory. We have to look after it. No one else will look after it. Politicians and leaders have been letting us down for a long time.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Far too long, and you do not need to be anywhere near power ever again.
They haven't been honest about the difficulties we face.
No, you haven't. You've just lied to everybody and raised their taxes and then stole their money and give it to all your wealthy friends.
I will tell the truth, whether it's popular.
Well, you don't tell the truth, do you? Already we've found out that you think that you're middle class because you worked a couple of shifts in McDonald's.
Or not. I will do what is right, not what is easy. I will listen to the people of our country.
Well, you don't listen to people, do you? Because people came to you with a genuine concern and you said, no, I'm right wing, I do as I'm told.
And focus on their priorities. The Conservative Party is under new leadership. We are going to do things differently.
Not very long. The way she's going, not very long it will be under new leadership. It's going to change very quickly. But yeah, so there we go. That's just my take on the pathetic attempt at trying to promote the Conservative Party. And there we go, look. They're desperate for people to join up because Reform are stealing all their votes. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. There's a video on screen now, which I think you should watch next. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.